We're back. You're watching the Jersey City show. Now to get our fill of sports, mainly Hudson County High School sports, but we like to throw a little major league stuff in here. Let's bring in from the Hudson Reporter System, Jim Haig. Jim, welcome.
Hi, Pat. How are you today?
Doing good. I got my coffee. Yankees are tied up. What do you think of last night's game?
I thought it was a great performance by the Yankees. They showed me a lot. Severino especially showed me a lot, bouncing back from the game against the Twins. He was in control from the beginning. You could see he was a totally different pitcher. He was throwing with confidence. He was throwing hard. And the first two innings told the story for the whole game, that he was in command. He was pumped up. He was throwing 98. His slider was on the black. He was not going to get beat. And then when the Yankees reached Bauer for 4 runs in the second inning, that game was over. I mean, because Severino was not going to give up 3 runs, more than 3 runs. He was that dominant, and sets up a really, really interesting Game 5 for Wednesday night.
Yankees bats are back. They've come to life. Now, Aaron Judge, what did he strike out? 3-4 times yesterday?
4 times, but he had the 2-run double that made the game 4-0. So, but 2 of the times he was called out on strikes, and especially the last one was about 1.5 foot outside, and they called it a strike. So it looked ridiculous. But
Aaron Judge,
it's going to be an interesting game tomorrow, Wednesday night. They're facing Corey Kluber, who's the top pitcher in the American League the last 2 years, 17-2 this year with a 2.11 ERA. And he's going up against CC Sabathia, which Girardi and the Yankees are hoping that they catch a little lightning in a bottle, because Sabathia, although he was good the other night when they blew the 8-3 lead.
Sabathia has the temperament to pitch into a big game. He's been there. He's the guy that stabilizes this rotation. And
I agree, but he's nothing more than a number 4 starter. He's pitching on guile more than anything else. And you said they don't have another choice. Well, Sonny Gray.
That's the great thing about the internet. Sometimes you have dropouts. Let's pick it up with Sabathia again. You got concerns about the 37-year-old lefty pitching against the Indians. I think, there's not a lot of a choice, but I think he's a good pitcher for it.
I think he's a very good number 4 pitcher, but if you're facing an elimination game, you want to have your ace. Okay, so you don't have your ace, but your number 2 is Sonny Gray, and they pass it over to Sonny Gray to give the ball to Sabathia, who is not the same pitcher as he was when he pitched for Cleveland or when he pitched for Milwaukee or even early in his Yankee career. He's doing it on guile and a lot of sliders, but they're taking a risk by giving the ball to Sabathia. We'll see. The odds, I think, are against the Yankees, but still, for them to get to Game 5 is a major accomplishment.
Well, I'll assume everyone's in the bullpen. If Sabathia has a bad first inning, second inning, they're going to go to Sonny Gray. They're going to go to the next man up. They're not going to let anybody sit in there for 5 innings.
Correct. They're going to all men out. Whoever's there is going to get a chance to throw tomorrow. No question.
Before we get into the high school, what do you think of the Astro Red Sox?
I wasn't surprised. The Red Sox stumbled home. They didn't play well at all in September. Their pitching was dreadful down the stretch. And once the Astros got Verlander, that pretty much put them in a class by themselves. And the Astros having Verlander and Dallas Keuchel is a dangerous 1-2 combination.
It was odd how the Astro manager handled it yesterday. It looked like he was in an elimination game because he brought Verlander in.
Right away. It was straight. He wanted to win that series and get it over with and have 6 days rest for his team. So he wanted to get it over with. He did it the right way.
Well, we got some exciting baseball coming up, but what's going on in Hudson County sports? Bring me up to date.
Well, I was at a very exciting high school football game on Friday night, which pit number 1 in the state, St. Peter's Prep, against number 2 in the state, DePaul Catholic of Wayne. And incredibly, St. Peter's Prep was losing 21-7 with 7:45 left to go in the game. And they scored 1 touchdown with 5:45, held DePaul to 3 and out, got the ball back, and scored the next touchdown with about 2:13 left to go in the game. And instead of kicking the extra point and sending the game to overtime, Prep head coach Rich Hansen showed a lot of guts by deciding to go for 2 points. And he, instead of taking his quarterback and sprinting him out right, he sprinted Masai Maynor out to the left where he had no chance to throw the ball. There was a run-pass option if he went right, but he ran left, which meant he had to get to the pylon on his own, and sure enough he did, and Prep won the game 22-21. And it was one of the most thrilling games I can remember down at Caven Point. It was a great game.
They're the head coach that's secure in his position on that team. Because, and
Well, he's been there for 30 years. So, well, he's been there for 30 years.
Kick it.
Yeah, 99% of the coaches kick it, but he's been there for 30 years. He's allowed to do whatever he wants. And incredibly, he did the same thing in the 1989 state championship game against St. Joe's of Montvale. They scored the touchdown to make it 21-20. And then everybody thought they were going to go for the extra point to tie it, and he went for 2 and got it, and they won the state championship 22-21. Same score. It's pretty amazing how that all played out. It was very similar. Stakes weren't the same, but it was very similar in the fact that both times Hansen went for 2. It showed a lot of guts by doing so.
Well, he's consistent with his coaching decisions again. He must know the opposition.
Yeah,
He knows his players.
29 years later. Yeah.
Well, it worked
29 years later,
ago.
he was very consistent. Yeah, 29 years ago, he was very consistent, and I just happened to be at both games. I was there on the sidelines in 1989 in Montville, and I was doing the PA announcing at the game on Friday night. It was a thrilling game, and it was one for the memory books, especially for St. Peter's Prep football. And
Anything
it
else? We
cemented
got
their
55
place.
seconds.
Wow. Well, the St. Peter's Prep plays Bergen Catholic this weekend in Oradell. Again, it'll be number 1 against number 2, and the Prep has their work cut out for them this weekend. The Bergen Catholic is very, very good. That's going to be another war. So they're going to go from one war to the next.
I bet Bergen Catholic will be on guard for that 2-point conversion.
I think so, too. I think everybody will be now. Everybody will be watching it.
Now, are there any good wide receivers we can get from St. Peter's Prep for the Giants?
No, right now, but the Giants should. There's a wide receiver who's sitting in his living room in Lyndhurst right now by the name of Victor Cruz. That nobody's saying anything at all. And yesterday, McAdoo said he's not an option. Well, I don't know why he's not an option, because he's sitting there not working for anybody.
Jimmy, good to have you. I'll see you next week. Go cover the game. Tell us what happens with St. Peter's Prep on Tuesday. Thank you.
You got it. Thanks so much, Pat.
All right, we're going to break the commercial. That was Jim Haig from the Hudson Reporter System. We'll be right back.